Howdy everyone, it's me once again, the one and only Killer Rodan. So I just figured I would review a movie I just got to watch it and not that long ago, of course, folks. So yes, thanks for tuning in. Obviously, just hear me talk about movies and such, because that's what I do on this channel anyway. So here we go, I reckon. So anyway, like I said, it's something I actually got to see not that long ago. So, which means yes, I actually went to the movie theater. So that's the thing, though. It was pretty rainy, unfortunately. Yeah, just Christ. It was a pain in the ass if you ask me, but whatever. Anyway, the movie in question is, of course, Love Hurts, which is like a kung fu comedy slash drama type of a movie. So here we go, I guess. Why not, I guess. So yeah, the theater I went to, it should look familiar because I've been here multiple times by this point. But anyway, here's the thing though. When it comes to these types of movies, like I said multiple times before, is that when it comes to kung fu comedies, I tend not to like these very much, like at all. But hey, can't blame me for trying to give this a shot, okay? Anyway, again, can't blame me for giving this a shot, okay, folks? Just saying. Anywho, of course, like always, let's talk about the plot, shall we? So here we go. So what's going on in this movie is that the main character, he basically just wants to live a typical life. He doesn't want to be in the way like he was in the past, but he does not want to relive what happened before. Of course, he kept his whole entire backstory hidden from his current job. His current job being he has to help to sell houses. He's one of those type of people. He has to talk to his clients and sell houses and whatnot. Yeah, he's one of those. He was one of those kind of people. Okay. Yeah, he's one some kind of sales agent for houses. I forget the specific term for that, but that's what he does for a living. But of course, like the old saying goes, your past has a way it's coming back to you, and that's exactly what happens here. His past has a way of coming back to him, unfortunately. So yes, somebody was sent to put him as kick his ass, so to speak, because at his job, mind you. Of all the places at his job. Like, really? The film just starts off like that, of course. And then there's also this blonde woman in the beginning of the film who will become an important figure as well. And she's kind of tired of this whole thing. And she kind of feels like this is not good living and whatnot. She pretty much one of those people that gets sick of Valentine's Day because, too much hardship, I guess, and whatnot. Which, yes, will become like a recurring theme in the movie, which I'm not going to say why, I'll just leave it at that, folks. Like, what do I mean exactly? But, yes, speaking of which, there was like a past lover for the main character, and like, just hunting him down and whatnot. Again, I'm not going to say why, but it's tied to this Valentine cards and whatnot. It's so much tied to that. Again, I would leave it at that. But anyway, so I just say, of course, his past he's pretty much keeping that away from his friend, his co-workers, his friends, and whatnot. He was not telling him the entire truth. He was doing that for a reason, of course, because he kind of viewed his current life, kind of like a restart. Like, okay, maybe that's not the better word. Maybe a fresher. If that's the way to do it, just to start from scratch, because he want to leave the past behind, really. And that's kind of the gist of the story was going on. Of course, we're gonna see all this kung fu fighting and whatnot. Comedy issues would be and sword and whatnot. It's quite a bit of kung fu fighting throughout the entire thing. I mean, it's not like super spread out or anything, but you have to give it a minute or two for some sequence to happen, of course, to kind of give you a feel of the overall general story, I guess. But yeah, that's kind of the thing. That's kind of the gist of it, really. If I would put it fairly straightforward, really. And some people, I guess, some reviewers, when it comes to this movie, have pointed out that this film is plagued by commitment, no pun intended, issues. Like it's supposed to be some romance, some comedy, some drama, some action thrown in here and there. And then simultaneously, the film is supposed to be like a throwback to the old kung fu movies. That's supposed to be like exploitation kind of a thing. Then, but with a modern twist to it. But it's not entirely invested in any of these things. But what are you talking about? I thought it was like a nice blend of everything. But that's way too vague if you ask me. But I mean, yes, it does have all those things. Yes, because especially given the theme of it, really. But if you ask me for my grip, it's more of a like a how do I say this? Yeah, it's more like the whole thing with that your past catching up to you. You know, maybe you shouldn't be hiding it really. But that and also family drama. It's more of like that and the whole thing with what I just said. Because it does involve. Let's put it this way, without getting too super specific. It does involve like an extremely toxic brother. I'll leave it at that. That's my takeaway from this. It pretty involves around that really. Like holy shit, the brother character. He's a real piece of work. Again, I'll leave it at that. Okay, I'll leave it at that. Anyway, I'll just make this quick. I just thought this was a pretty solid film, even though kung fu comedy is not really my thing. Not really. But all in all, I thought it was a solid enough movie. The action sequences are decent enough. The comedy bits did make me chuckle here and there. And it's a pretty coherent plot overall, really, as a whole. So it's one of the better, I guess, modern kung fu movies. I usually don't like modern kung fu movies for the most. I usually do not like them at all. This was one of the better movies. I thought it was pretty decent, I suppose. So anyway, I'll give this a recommendation. I mean, is it flawed? Yes. There's some things I can pick at it too. Sure, I'll say that. Sure, but as a whole, it's not terrible. No. So yeah, I'm glad that I was actually able to just get out for a little bit, folks. Of course. Yeah, if this looks familiar, like I said, I've been out to this spot quite a few times in the past. Oh, definitely. But like I said, it's a solid enough film. I did like the what the premise was there. So I did like the whole bit with Kung Fu and Valentine's. Okay, Kung Fu and Valentine's. Like, okay. That's a good mix right there. I thought that was a pretty good mix right there with the family drama aspect of it, like I just said a moment ago. Again, I know it's been incredibly vague on that aspect of it, but that's, again, like I said, that's my takeaway from this, really. But anyway, I thought it works for the most part. I mean, yes, also, of course, I got a snack with me. Got some popcorn. Yeah, put extra butter on this bastard. Yeah, sure did. Anyway, but all in all, I thought it was a pretty solid film. I mean, yes, it was trying to play like an homage to the old kung fu movies, at least to some extent, but just with a modern setting, I guess. And that's another thing. I tend to not like kung fu movies that take place in a modern time. I tend to like the kung fu movies that take place in a specific, like Asian place, in a specific time period, where there wasn't like no really no technology like it is now, I guess. But whatever, I reckon. Anyway, but yeah, I just thought I'd just bring this up for a good moment here, folks. Because why the hell not? I suppose. I don't know. I thought it was a solid enough film. Of course, the pacing pretty brisk, of course. And yes, there's gonna be a situation where the main character pretty much has to prove this. He has to stand up himself, and whatnot. And again, I'll just leave it at that. What does that even mean? I'll leave it at that, folks. Because I rarely, like I said before, I would rarely do like a spoiler review kind of a thing, spoiler discussion, whatever you call it. I really would do that. Anyway, so there's that, folks. I'll just leave it at that. I would definitely just leave it at that. And that was a solid enough film, even though this film did receive mostly negative reviews, really, but whatever. Anyway, so it's decent enough. I'd say check it out. So ultimately, I would say I'll give this film a overall rating of a 7.0 It's a 7.0 for me. So as always, thanks for watching. Take care. Next time. See ya. Oh yeah. Later.